Hi, welcome to Coffee with Kim. I am Kim Bassett, your host, and today's guest is really special and dear to my heart. In life, you've probably heard the quote, your greatest wealth is your health," and our guest today is definitely going to be helping us with that.
Today on Coffee with Kim, coming from Florida, is Dr. Maria Limardo. Dr. Limardo, born in the U.S. to Venezuelan parents, spent some of her early years in Venezuela. Being fluent in English and Spanish has allowed her to make a big impact both here and abroad. Receiving her MD and PhD from the University of Thomas Jefferson in Philadelphia and trained in human genetics with extensive experience in clinical studies in skin genetics. As a wife, mother, and award-winning speaker, doctor, and intuitive healer, Dr. Maria's journey brought her to a place where her obstacles became her abilities and her intuition, and those gifts she is able to access while serving others. Her mission is to be the bridge to empower people to heal themselves. Join me in welcoming Dr. Limardo to Coffee with Kim.
Yay!
Thank you, Kim. I'm excited. I'm excited for this opportunity to have information share with you and with your audience. And I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. And what I always show my guests, beforehand, their promo reel to make sure it's how they want it. And it always touches me because that's probably one of the things that fulfills me the most is to see my guests be celebrated and they get to see their life live. So
yeah, thank you. The video was so moving. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So as we always do, I want to take a few minutes here and let you kind of let our viewers know a little bit about who you are and your journey.
Well, I think I was born with an awareness that was beyond my time. Yes, you've heard of mediums, channelers for maybe the past 100 years, and it's becoming more accepted. So I grew up being the black sheep of the family, right? And I had all these awareness of things they were happening and things that I was seeing that nobody else was seeing. So at some point, I either questioned myself, I'm okay, am I a little bit cuckoo, or what's going on with me? So with my life, I started to see when I was studying that I had this ability when I was looking at the patients or doing research of getting information that was out there, so to speak. And, it was important information, either from a client or whatever the experiments that I was working on. And I would get clarity immediately of what I was doing. Then I read two books that changed my life. One was The Celestine Prophecy, and that was like, oh my God, I could see exactly what they are seeing. It's that colors. Yes. And then the other is The Anatomy of the Spirit from Carolyn Myss. And I went like, wow, there is other people like me that can see what's happening in other bodies. So my long trip took me to do research for many years. And then I just dropped that because it was not what it was filling my heart. And I became a makeup artist for TV and film. And I was also doing some writing for film. And the opportunity came out once I was doing makeup for Maria Conchita Alonso. And she was talking to a healer. And the healer looked at me and he goes like, oh, you're a healer too. And I am like with my brushes in my hands. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm being found out. No. And I'm like, oh, yes. And he's like, no, you're a healer. I can see it. I can see what you're doing with her. It's not only doing her makeup, but you're healing her. And he told me, I'm so sure that this is the way your life is going to be, that you come to my course this weekend and you are invited. You don't have to pay anything. And the rest is history. So I
Wow.
became officially a medical intuitive in 2010. That's when
Wow.
I said, this is who I am.
It's really interesting because you had that experiences as a child, and then you actually went through the science of being a
Yeah.
doctor. I mean, you were in, yeah, you got your MD, you got your PhD
PhD in genetics,
in
yes.
genetics, and you worked in that field. So sometimes, at least back when you and I were growing up, that those were about as far as separate as you could get. I think we're becoming in an age where those are kind of blending a little bit better. But I just thought it was so fascinating that to have that experience, you went into the science, and then now you're back on the other side of that. Again, blending them together.
Yeah. Well, one little short thing that I want to tell, I was a student and I came across with a publication from England where they had a population, I think it was in some part of Ireland, where they were studying everybody that, quote unquote, at that time called medium. And the results were fascinating. And they actually found a mutation, but I don't think it's a mutation anymore, or a gene in the retina of the eye that would allow those people see something different. Okay, I think
Mhm.
it's beyond that. Now we know about the biofield and what it was called the aura before. Now it's called the biofield, and now we know about the chakras and the meridians, and now they have scientific names instead the names that we grew up knowing them.
Yeah, because I think, there was such a woo-woo expression about them, but it's so nice though to be able to have that blending that yes, we can measure this. We are energy and we can measure this. So I think
Yeah.
it's absolutely fascinating. You have some wonderful friends of yours. So can you translate for us?
Yes, somebody says it's, I know it's in English, but I send it to all my contacts.
Oh, oh, that's wonderful.
Well, you know what? Google, YouTube now has a translator that, in the closed captioning area. So,
Oh, that's
yeah,
fantastic. Good. Thank
yeah,
you for that information. I learn
yeah,
something every day, especially
yeah.
even doing this. So, one of the things that I was so grateful for when you and I were connected and started talking about inflammation, because that is something, gut health, inflammation, all of those things are super, super important. And I remember, gosh, probably 15, 20 years ago when I first started getting on it, it was a doctor, started with a W, but he was really talking a lot about inflammation. So I want you to let's kind of dive into that a little bit. And we have some slides and things that we're going to also have you present. But can you give us kind of an overview of why somebody needs to listen today about inflammation?
Well, to my understanding and my experience in all levels of medicine, and by medicine, I say allopathic and also holistic and a spiritual medicine and energy medicine, there is a component of inflammation in all of those areas. So inflammation, it's the mother of all the diseases. That's how it starts. And then there are genetic modifications with inflammation. Why? Because inflammation, in a way, it's there to defend us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing. Our body knows exactly what to do at all moments. And
Yes.
when people say, "Oh well, there is a mutation in the genetics," our DNA is the most spectacular and perfect information there is, and it has a lot of safeguards mechanisms to keep the to keep the DNA intact. So
Mm-hmm.
there are repairs mechanisms. There are mechanisms to make a deletion or add a base if you need it. So our body is all the time working towards our health, always. So I
Yes.
want everybody to listen to that. Our body is working for our health all the time. Are we listening?
Oh, that's a big one.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't, we get into the busy, I've got to get this done or that done. And I think it was, I can't remember, it was Oprah. Somebody said that they either knock you on the head with a spoon, or they knock you with a brick, right? Your body sometimes screams at us because it'll whisper, it'll be quiet, but then it gets louder and louder and louder until we get shut down.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually, when you develop a disease where inflammation is the only underlying cause, that's the tip of the iceberg. So imagine everything that it's underneath. And we were not listening ever.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to give you the clues what to do.
Okay, so
What is it?
let's go. Let's get into this.
Yeah. So inflammation, like we know, it's a multi-level action created by the immune system as an effort to protect itself. But we have two types of inflammation. There is the acute and the chronic inflammation. The acute is you break a leg and there is going to be heat, there is going to be swelling, but you need to go to a doctor. It's going to get fixed. And then you're going to have prostaglandins, and then you're going to have all sorts of hormones that your immune system and your cannabinoid system, which we're going to talk later, are going to send there and send inflammatory cells to fix everything, right? And then we have chronic inflammation.
Okay.
This is
So,
when our, do you have a question?
oh, someone does. It says, does the inflammation produce a change in our genes?
If it's chronic, yes. Absolutely. Okay.
Is stress a chronic inflammation?
Yes, absolutely. Because these mechanisms are perfect, but to do things immediately, okay? Like what I was saying, you break an arm, or you get you get a cut. It is right there. It responds. They are the first responders of the immune system, okay? But
Yeah.
once it's healed, they go back to where they are supposed to go back and be ready and nurturing themselves. So when something else happens, they can come out and fix whatever your problem. But chronic inflammation is when your body continuously keeps sending these signals and there is no a break inside. So
Okay.
that either can cause a process called apoptosis, which is sudden death, which is necessary under certain circumstances, to renew the tissue.
Yes.
Or it goes in prolific production of cells because there is nothing saying, the battle is over. Okay. So the immune system continues to provide us with this for years, and we are not noticing.
Okay.
So we're not giving ever a break.
Okay. Next one.
So how do you know you have inflammation? There is a plethora of things that you can have. Okay. I named just a few in here because the list is immense. You can have abdominal pain, allergies, breathing problems, fever, infections, anxiety, depression, personality disorders, weight gain. And this is important because a lot of people say that the obesity came before the inflammation. Okay. I don't think it's true.
Okay.
There is something that happened there that made you gain weight.
Okay.
And cardiovascular diseases and everything.
Okay.
So causes of the chronic inflammation, it's exposure to toxic products. We all know them.
Mm-hmm.
We know the PFOAs, we know the plastics, we know the fertilizers, we know every food that comes in a box or a can has some toxic in there. Certain cosmetics, everything. You all know VOCs, paints, we all know. But there are other exposure to toxic elements like environments, could be your work, could be your workplace, or the people around in your workplace, or relationships with a family, with friends. And when this is toxic, you're sending inflammatory signals all the time.
Wow.
You could also have, can you turn it back?
Oh, yeah.
Dephased circadian rhythms. That means you're not sleeping enough, you're not eating at the right time, you're not waking up at the right time, and that will cause a cascade of things. Then you might have a genetic predisposition, but usually this comes because your parents, your family has been exposed to trauma or toxics, okay? But you're
Okay.
carrying it in. And the moment you encounter the same toxic, your body goes, oh, I remember this. I have to respond to this.
Wow. And we do. Our bodies remember, don't they?
Absolutely. It's perfect.
Yeah.
The other thing that people don't think that it might cause inflammation, it's not expressing your true desires.
When I saw that, I was like mind blown.
Yeah. You need to tell everybody what you feel, what you want, not just swallow it. Okay.
Okay.
And then the last one, it's the faulty communication
Sorry, my
between,
fault.
that's fine, between the immune system, cannabinoid, and nervous system. Okay. So if you get me the slide of the cannabinoid system, because it's less known.
Okay.
It is only known because.
Where do I go? This is just in order.
No, go back.
Go back. Okay.
Go back. Right there. Oh.
Okay.
Right. The endocannabinoid system, it's one of the most important discoveries of the 90s, the end of the 90s, because it was the missing link between the nervous system and the immune system. And as you can see, there are two, but they are basically everywhere in your body. So how do we realize that? Fortunately, it was through research with marijuana that these came about to find in this. But these centers in each part of our body are the centers with proteins for happiness and enjoyment.
Wow.
Well, for example, there is a protein called anandamide, and it's called now the protein of happiness. So can you see, if you're stressed, you're not happy, you're not joyful.
Yes.
So there is a short circuit there. Okay. So it's a very important. Some people want to take CBD, some people want to smoke marijuana, but things to upregulate it naturally is exercising, meditating, eating chocolate, eating well. So you produced a lot of anandamide, which is the happiness protein.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
huge.
fascinating, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Yes. So we talk about physical inflammation. Now, there are other two types of inflammation, emotional inflammation and spiritual inflammation. So the emotional one, it's the one that it's going to tell us that we have a perceived inability to experience positive emotional health and happiness. And also reminds us that our endocannabinoid system is not working. So you see, the immune system deals with the physical, the endocannabinoid with the emotional one. So how do you know that you have emotional inflammation? You have difficulty with states that feel painful. You feel swollen, red, and hot, like you would feel it in your skin.
Uh-huh.
But this results in the emotional inflammation. You also have thoughts that are inaccurate, feeling ideas that you're withdrawn, negative impacts of our sense of purpose and meaning, and you feel extremely frustrated. So emotional inflammation disconnects us from our true sense of self, which can also result in a spiritual inflammation.
I
So
bet
when
no
you,
one has ever heard of either one of these, I bet.
yeah. So when you feel like I'm not myself, I don't belong to this family. What else? I feel like I'm not part of this. Then you go ding, 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 emotional inflammation. That eventually will go into physical because you don't pay attention to this. And no one said before, and no one told you, hey, this is where everything starts.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to the next one. Okay. So emotional inflammation, how do you see that? Usually it translates in anger, frustration, and loneliness. Those are the three culprits of this type of inflammation. And then you go into a state of pain and suffering. But what we need to do, instead of putting everything in the same bag of anger and frustration and loneliness, we got to do a face off, especially with anger, and take the mask of it and go deeper and see what it really is, the problem. So,
Okay.
next one. So we need to get the real reason of this anger because we give him a lot of power. And at the end, oh, I'm angry. Why are you angry? What happened? Especially with the 2 years that we had, a lot of people were
Yes.
angry. And the real reason is because you don't have control over
Yes.
the situation.
Yes.
Okay. And there is nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Like, who could go out? Nobody was allowed to go out.
Yeah.
So that is the real reason of the anger. You didn't have control on when to do things. Take off your mask, put it on, if to vaccine or not vaccine. There is nothing you could do about it. So you got angry, frustrated, and felt lonely.
Yes.
Next one. So the spiritual inflammation, it is usually all about your ego and whether you're rageous or you're victimized or you're entitled or needy. These are the parts of your ego that tells you immediately, I'm separated from source because I cannot recognize me.
Yeah.
Okay. There is also lineage, victimization, loneliness, or slavery programming. Okay. That it's in our DNA, comes from since the creation of the human race.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they're also interfering distorted fractals, either created by us or not. And this is an interesting thing because we think we're not creating anything, and we are always creating something.
Yes, we
Always.
are.
Either good, not so good, or challenging. Okay.
Yes.
So sometimes we have things that if we have a really bad conversation with somebody and it became a screaming match, that frequency could get stuck in our aura, and it will get to be a shape. Some people can see it as a cloud. Some people, I see it into geometric shapes that are usually not a pleasant color, and that's why I see it. Or you are the kind of person that your grandma died and you were so in tune with your grandma that you every night you pray for your grandma to come and help you. Well, your grandma needs evolution, and you need your grandma to let go. And then all of a sudden your grandma died, let's say from lung cancer, and you start coughing. So,
Wow.
and you get lung inflammation and you don't know why. And you have this fractal attached to you. And the biggie one, it's separation from source. So this is a big one when you don't recognize yourself as part of everything, part of God, and part of the whole planet.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Next one. Okay.
Next one. So where to
That's
start?
that's my question. I was like, okay, now I'm all stressed out. How do I fix this?
The first thing is self-care. One of the things that has been proven over and over again that works, it's meditation. because even meditation will help you to get of interfering fractals. Meditation will help you to sleep better, to regulate your circadian rhythms. And, the good thing is that you can start 10 minutes, but it's good that you enhance it and grow it to an hour that you take for yourself today. But meditation has different phases, and we could do another show about meditation.
Yes, we
It's
are,
not,
because I want to learn more.
yeah, it's not just sitting like that. In our group, the one that we are, I was talking to you that one of my meditations is doing my makeup in the morning and just doing movements around my face because I'm
Yes.
touching different meridians, okay? Then reflection. If you're not feeling okay, you have to start wondering, okay, where is this coming from? Is it mine? It's not mine. I don't feel great. What is this telling me? Also, you have to have empathy and compassion for yourself. Okay. You
Yes.
carry a lot of information from your ancestors. So honor them for what they went through. And maybe you are the one who's going to break the chain. Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to feel the pain. And if you have somebody that was in the Holocaust, well, you have to feel the pain and recognize, right, what happened there. Then acceptance and forgiveness. And the acceptance and forgiveness is for yourself, not for everybody else. It's like,
Yes.
I forgive myself for being this person, for having this personality disorder, for being the interrupter in every family gathering. Then meaning making. Look for what you really want to do. A clue to that is, what did you like to do when you were 5? And you can explore it. Maybe you're not going to be playing with dolls, but what from there is it that you like? Designing with the dolls, making them pretty, organizing, and you can just go from there. And finally, it's profound self-love. Definitely. You got to be grateful and appreciative of everything that happens to you. There is a lesson in everything that happens to you. And
Yes.
from that lesson, you grow.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. And for anything else, you'll get a medical intuitive.
And we'll tell them exactly how to get you and get in
Yeah.
touch with you in a few minutes. Um, I boy, like you said, we could have so many different shows on everything, but thank you so much for bringing this awareness to us, right?
Absolutely.
And some tips. So, I asked you when we leave here, can you teach us something that we can bring people can do when they're done here?
Yes. One of the things I love to talk to people with my hands over my heart. First of all, because it will calm me. And second, it protects your heart for other fractals that I was talking about, interfering fractals. And also, it tells the person that you're talking to that you care. And they don't have to know that you're protecting yourself. But also, it helps to irradiate all the toroidal field of your heart, okay? Which is your heart center and your heart love. So if everybody closes their eyes, I just want to do something really quick, and I'm going to give everybody who's watching a healing. And I want later to comment in the video, what do you feel? So if something from last year caused you anger and frustration, I want you to think, what was it? What's the real cause of it? Was it that you didn't have control over a situation? Was it that you couldn't do anything about it and you really had to stay and be with the situation and look at it? Whatever it is, put a number to it If it's really bothering you, you put a 10 to it. If it's not bothering you anymore, you just give it a 1. And you're going to say the following. I, and state your name. Put all of this disrupting emotions into a geometric platform of clemency for the purpose of clearing them from its points of origin and in every time and space. Breathe in. I ask for positive resolutions. And you're going to repeat this 3 times. I make peace with the past. I make peace with the past. I make peace with the past. Take a deep breath. And check your number. Is it below 10? Or is it still 10? And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Even just putting my hands on my heart is so peaceful.
It is. It is so peaceful. And you feel amazing. So I hope this healing brought some peace and some calming of the inflammation process in the body.
Oh, thank you. We have some other comments from Sarah. Sarah, thanks for tuning. Yay! And then someone said they were a 4.
Great. So this person had a release. Good.
Yes. Oh. Okay. So I want people to know how to get a hold of you. So Maria is giving the first 10 people. So if we had at least 10 or more people watching, if you want to have a 15-minute consultation with Maria, you better do this quickly because she's only going to do the first 10. Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to maria.limardo@gmail.com. So email her, tell her that, put on the subject line Coffee with Kim consult so she knows where it's coming from. And then you can also connect with her on Facebook at the
Medicina Energética Intuitiva.
Yes. And here is her website, marialimardo.com. Get more information about her there. I just think
and Instagram, Maria Limardo, PhD.
PhD. Okay, we will put that in the comments after this. Good. But I do want I love that you said that. Please, everybody, talk, make comments, no matter what platform you're seeing this on, about what you learned from today. We would love to engage. Marie would love to, if you had other further questions that came up, if you're seeing this at the recording, please make comments down below. We would love to know what was your favorite part of today. So again, thank you so much for coming. And we're going to have you back on because I want them to learn the makeup one because I do use that. I'm glad you remembered that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say before you're done?
No, I'm just thank you and honored to have everybody listening to this interview today. And I wish everybody peace. I honor you. I love you. And I appreciate that you took the time to listen to both of us.
Yes, I agree. Thank you. All right, everyone, wrapping up another wonderful Coffee with Kim today. Thank you for joining us. We're at Coffee with Kim, we bring people who want to convey what they do love and want. Get to be celebrated, and they get to connect with all of you that are watching and viewing what she has to offer. So please join us again in the next Coffee with Kim. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you all have just a wonderful day.